Every time we start, we're laughing already.
If you could only be a fly on the wall.
Prior to this moment, getting ready.
See my new eyeball? I still got the twitch.
How come you have a glass in?
Because the vision hasn't improved enough that I have to take the glasses out. That's why I have to wait. My surgery for next week has been postponed for 2 weeks. Because the eye, it's still a little blurry. And so he doesn't want to do the other eye because he wants them to complement each other. So he wants to make sure this eye is completely all said and done right. And then he'll do the other eye so that he can match it up so it'll be perfect.
And what else?
I didn't take my medication the right way. You know, if you knew me, you would know. Because even my husband, he was making fun of me in the doctor's office. Because if it says I'm supposed to take a pill 4 times a day, I take it every 6 hours. You know, like sometimes you can take it like in the morning, at lunchtime and dinner, and then before you go to bed. Oh no, I'm going to do it. It says 4 times a day. 4 into 24 is 6. I'm going to do it every 6 hours. And if I took it at 4 o'clock, and the 6 hours then would be 10 o'clock, I'm not going to take it at 5 to 10. I'm going to wait until it's 10 o'clock. That's just who I am.
And you're going to get up at 4 a.m.?
And I would get up at 4 a.m. and I would take the pill. I would do that. That's just what I do. So anyway, I got my drops, and I had 2 of them that I was supposed to take 3 days prior. And the way I did do it was I put the drops in my eyes, 1 drop in my eye 4 times a day. But they told me I could do it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime. So that's when I did do it like that. So I did follow that direction. And the other one...
You're talking loud.
Oh, the other one.
You feel like you're yelling at it.
Well, because Cece
you're
said,
excited.
Was it Cece? No, Chanel couldn't hear me the other day. And, you know, is it Shelly? Oh, yes, it was. Shelly couldn't hear me. So I want to make sure she hears me. But anyway, so the other one, I was only supposed to put in my eye 1 time a day. And I did it 4 times a day. And so then when I got home from my surgery yesterday, I had a new drop that I had to put in addition to those other ones. And I was only supposed to put 1 drop in. And I put 4 drops in 4 times a day. So my eye is still a little dilated. Go figure. Who could know? So he said that might be one of the reasons. He said I didn't do damage to the eye. He said I just over dilated it. So... and if anything, I won't get an infection because I've over medicated it too. So he said whatever, and then like I was a child, they rewrote the instructions. Well, and then they put breakfast, and then they listed the drops, and then lunch listed the drops.
Clearly they needed to.
So now I'm doing it the right way.
Oh,
and then another thing I was supposed to do, I just popped them all in at the same time. Oh no, I'm supposed to wait 5 minutes in between each one, and I didn't do that either.
You weren't listening.
Yeah, I was listening, but you know, they gave me so much to, you know, I was just so worried about the surgery. And then I was like a wreck through the surgery. And then I was like old because I was so afraid I was going to cough or sneeze. And in the morning, my sinuses drain really bad. And I don't like laying flat on my back. And I knew they put you way back, you know, like your head is way, way back. And so that I said, well, what if I blink? You know, what's going to happen? And they go, oh no, we're going to put a little mechanism on your eye that holds your eyelid open. And I says, oh, like the Clockwork Orange. He looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's old.
The movie's old. No.
I'm talking about your doctor.
No, he's not. I have a new doctor.
Oh, I thought you went to my doctor.
No, I don't want to go to your
My doctor's older than me, so I'm thinking he would know that.
My doctor looks like he just graduated from, which is what I want. Because, you know, I told you, I tried to get doctors like my age, and then they go and they die on me, or they retire, or whatever.
What's the doctor's last name?
It's a foreign name. I don't know.
Okay.
I think he's Lebanese. I think. But he's Middle Eastern, I know that.
How'd you find him?
Because he's at the Vision Center where I picked it because it was only less than
the same place I go, but a different doctor.
A different doctor, yes.
I like
but so he's like in his 30s, and then the anesthesiologist looked like he was in his 20s, and the nurses, they looked like they were in their 20s. And I had to explain the movie Clockwork Orange, and they went, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that movie. No, don't. It's kind of riveting.
Anyway, that was a long tangent. Look at my eye.
I could go on too because I needed to call and get a phone number and for a doctor that I have to go see, and I called information because I can't find the number anywhere. It's just like one of my normal regular checkups. And so then when I called the information, I got the international phone number. I don't want to, it was just like in Warren, Michigan. I mean, so I called the AT&T to complain because I'm not going to pay for that, it's $1.50 for a call. And they gave me hell too, so never got the number. But I know you call 411. I'm doing the old school 555-1212. Yeah, no, they don't do that anymore. I'm done. Denise can start.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
You're going to talk about your Weight Watchers.
Oh, yeah. I didn't go this past Saturday because I'm on the fence as to whether I'm going to continue to go to the meetings.
Because she can't have Dorothy.
Yeah, you know, after I lost her, this other one. But then I found out that the Allison that was on Saturday, she's not there anymore. So they're going to get somebody new. But she won't be, the new person won't be there this Saturday either. They'll be starting the next Saturday. So I might go back. My friend Sandy said I have to come back because we finally found somebody there to go with. And I don't know, it just seems like lately I'm paying money, a lot of money, and I'm not getting anything out of it, and I really am not motivated, and I feel like it's just a waste of money. But if it was a good leader again, maybe that would motivate me again. I don't think it's all the leader's fault. It's my fault. But I just really like that Dorothy. But I can't quit work just so I can go to her meeting. That'd be a good plan.
She should just go in late on Wednesdays.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Just say, you know what, you can get along without me.
Yeah.
Get along, little doggy, get along.
So that's why I didn't have one on Saturday, and I don't know that I'm going to have anything this Saturday because they're just going to have a sub. And then the following Saturday, I might try one more time and go and see if I like her or not. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I know I got a lot of people like that, and I don't know. Without going to the meeting, I could get the booklet from that Sandy and talk about whatever's in the booklet, but it's not the same as like telling you when I've heard it, like what I usually do. So I don't know if I'm going to do that either. I was thinking of that as an option, but we'll have to see. Anyway, that's about it on that. Kind of boring. It's rainy here all day, so that kind of put me in a mood. I didn't want to go to work today. I do like my job and I don't mind going, but today, not so much. I was like, I could stay home. And when I went there, Carrie, that I work right with, she said the same thing, that she didn't want to go into work either. It's a rainy day. But Sandy didn't work, so she doesn't know that feeling.
I've known that feeling. I worked for how many years?
I know, you don't know that feeling now.
No. I used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start work at 6, so no, I don't want to hear it. I did that and if he would have given me the just wages that I deserved,
you'd still be working.
I still would be working because I really liked it. I was just annoyed that people that were there less than me, that did the exact same job as me, got paid more than me. Politics. Office politics. Office. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't know. We're looking forward to Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Our nacho bar. I like that. And
the kids, of course. They're looking forward to it.
And the kids, I guess, yeah.
I love seeing all the little ones. Once they start getting really big, yeah, then we close the door. Or at least I do. If they're getting bigger than me.
I used to just, when I'd say, you're too big, go away. But now that I'm getting older.
And now that she has a grandchild that's older, that's going to go.
Yeah, he's going to go. He's 14. He says he's bringing his sister, but I know he's going to have a bag and he's going to get candy.
Josh is the same. He's like on the fence. He thinks he's too old for it. But I said, you miss out on the candy. He says, I'll have some of He says, oh, no, you won't. If she does all the work to get it, you're not going to eat any of it. So now I think he's going to go.
Christy told me I should get little Dum Dum suckers for the big kids. I got Tootsie Pops, which are a little bit more, but...
Well, but I don't blame him. If I was a kid, I'd try to go as long. I don't remember when I stopped going. How old were we?
I was 25, and I
have no memory of like when we stopped.
I stopped when I started high school, and back then you didn't start high school till the 10th grade, so I was 15.
Okay.
But I did go out. I was a bum every year.
Yeah, so my mother did not buy costumes.
She didn't buy costumes. We'd sew little patches that we could take off because we weren't going to ruin our good clothes. So we had to like base stitch. Yeah. So I did know how to sew.
And she just put crap on our face and like that was our makeup. It was her makeup she smeared all over us. It was not like... And I remember going to the Five and Dime, we used to call it. And they had those boxes of costumes. And I would just, so want those. And then my friend would get them because they spent money that we did not.
And they were like cheap-ass costumes.
They were cheap costumes, but when you never get one, you really, really wanted one. And we never had one. I don't ever remember ever getting a costume purchase. No. So then when I was older, I loved to sew even back then, and I would make costumes. So for her kids, I would make costumes. I would sew the costumes.
Yeah, they were really nice,
and I made some really good costumes. So I remember doing that because I would think I felt neglected not having it.
She had a cat that she made an outfit for, and she made little shoes.
I think I was
for them
9,
too.
9.
The poor
hard
cat.
soled shoes. I mean, literally laces and all. I made them.
That poor cat.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was. I remember that.
And I think now I have a picture, and I was older. I don't even know how old I was. I mean, like I'm in my 20s, and I had one of my nieces, Holly. She was living with us at the time, and I think, or maybe she wasn't living at the time, but anyway, she had a doll that had a sweater and a hat. I put it on my cat. I was in my 20s. Took a picture, and I have that. Diana's holding my well, she's my sister-in-law, so she's holding my cat, and it had a pink little knit hat and a sweater on. But anyway.
I had a cat named Donald that I taught to fetch, and you could throw the ball, and it would run and get it in its mouth, and it'd run back and drop it at your feet. Until he got ran over by... No, actually, he didn't. Well, he did get run over, but like when you see the cat sleeping on the tires, he was sleeping on the tire, and Jim backed up and went over him. It was bad. One time, it's not funny, but it's funny, is Denise's dog, Teak, got hurt. I don't know how he got hurt. Did he get hit by a car or something? Mm-hmm. And so she put him in the back of the car to drive him to the vet. And she didn't realize that the chain was wrapped around him, and he kept crying the whole way. The poor thing was like suffocating because you didn't have the leash.
No, it wasn't around his neck. It was around his paw.
Oh, his injured paw.
He was a black dog, just so you know, and he had curly hair, you know, so it was really hard to see.
Cockapoo, wasn't he a cockapoo?
Cockapoo, yeah.
It was a good dog, but like when people would say, "Oh, I'm going to pet your dog," and she'd always say, "He'll bite."
Yeah. Well, they bite. Yes, he'll bite you.
Yeah, he'll bite you.
It was a guard. He wasn't really a guard dog, but he thought he was a guard dog. But he was a very good dog.
And then Mary had a dog named Odie that was pretty good until a board fell on his head.
Yeah, sadly.
And then he was like Odie. He really was that after that. And then they had a dog, Sinbad, which is a collie, and it swallowed a pencil. And my mother, bless her heart, opened up his mouth and reached her hand down his throat and got the pencil out.
Because she wasn't going to pay for a vet bill.
She was going to pay for a vet bill. Well, that's it.
That's how we grew up.
I was trying to make her out to be a hero, but
no. And she would always, you know, and truly they had no money. I mean, there were 6 kids, and you know, times were hard. But I remember she'd always put us on the kitchen table, and she'd be the doctor.
Yes.
No, she would do it and grab things out of your foot. I'll have to take us to the doctor. She would like threaten us with that, and we would be begging to go to the doctor because she thought she was a doctor.
I never had a stitch, other than when I had my knee surgery. I never had a stitch removed by a doctor.
No,
my mother would take the stitches out. And I was surprised when I broke my arm that she actually let me go to the doctors for I think it was only for the fact that I was unconscious because I had fallen off the bike and hit my head, which would probably explain a lot of things. She always said, don't ride 2 on a bike. And so I wasn't riding 2 on a bike. We were riding 3 on a bike. And I was on the handlebars, and Sue was driving the bike, and Florence was on the back end, and then we were going to go up the curb, and we didn't hit the curb really well. And I hit my head, and I was unconscious, and she had to bring me to the hospital because the fire department was called. She was kind of mad.
I remember when I didn't broke my arm, and I had fractured it. It really didn't. But I had done over the handle swing set, and I waited all day because she worked at that time. My mother worked at Chatham's, which was like a grocery store. I don't know if you had them wherever you're at, but anyway. And I waited all day in pain and crying, and she came in the door, and she said, well, if you can move it, and she was like that. And I was just screaming. So she did bring it, and I did have a fracture, but anyway, that was my mother and her doctor. We love her dearly.
We love her dearly.
Trying to save money.
One time I had a convulsion, I remember that, and I fell out of the top bunk of the bunk bed, and I have a distinct memory of her grabbing me by my feet and dragging me into the kitchen because the phone was in the kitchen, so she could call my Aunt Rose who lived down the street. Maybe that's where we get it from, because Aunt Rose lives so close to Mom. So she could come in. I remember my Aunt Rose saying, you're going to have to call the doctor. You're going to have to call the doctor. And my mother kept saying, she'll come out of it. She'll come out of it.
Well, just think of it in actuality.
But how much it cost, you know?
Yeah, they didn't have insurance like they have now.
No.
And really, we had no extra money.
She had 6 kids in 10 years.
Yeah. Times were tough. So she
it was right after the war.
Yeah, she saved money when she could.
But you know what? We never not had something for our birthday. We always had a cake. We always got our own. That was our day. You know, like which we've said before, you'd got up as early as you could and made everybody be your little slaves for the day, because that was your gift.
You were the queen.
You were the queen and the king of the day, and you got to pick whatever you wanted, and you got to get your cake. And she'd always get you a store-bought cake for your, which hadn't been a lot back then.
Yes.
But on your birthday, you got a store-bought cake, and Christmas time, you always got a gift. Always. I don't ever remember not ever.
And I remember having our socks, and you could see the banana
and the apple.
And
No
then I'd go down to my friends, and she would have Mary, you know this, and she'd have like a really nice, stocking, like a normal stocking. We'd had literally our socks up there, and then she would get like all kinds of little cute things, like little trinkets of stuff and real candy and all. But you could see the movies of us, and you could see it was like anyway. But we lived, and I would not change anything because.
And I never knew we were poor.
No, I didn't.
We never knew we were poor. We always had a meal on the table, and it was just.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays we didn't have a meal until she went to the grocery store because that was payday, and so like. It was always like we got to take turns going, and you got to pick once every 6 weeks. You got to pick out what cereal you wanted. So.
Yeah.
But other than
I
that,
wouldn't change the way we were brought up. Actually,
we drove. How many were in that station? What, you were little though.
Through the riots.
Through the riots in Detroit. We had gone to this resort called Island Lake for the day.
It's not a resort. It's a.
Oh, not a resort. It's like a
resort. We never went to.
It's like a resort. It was.
It's a beach, and it had an
like
island
a state
in the middle.
park.
Like a lake, and there was an island, like a little island in the middle that you could swim to. But it was not a resort.
But we went. We were coming. we were coming home, and we kept seeing all these fires and people like parking their cars on the expressways and running up the side of the road and that. And my mother decided to take a different way home, and so she went.
Right in the middle
right through Detroit.
Which we lived in Detroit,
we lived
but
in
not
Detroit.
downtown.
Yeah, so West Grand Boulevard. She got off at the West Grand Boulevard exit and went right through the riots. We went right past the street where it started, and we're like, because my Aunt Agnes went too, and we had that. Well, my Jim used to call it the White Warrior, the station wagon. It was a country sedan station wagon. It had white and with a brown panel on the side, and. We were seeing all these fires, and that wasn't until we got home and my father started yelling at my mother, "Where the hell were you? Where were you?" Because no cell phones back then. But we made it, and we were fine. And it was scary because, I was just 17. Well, I was 16. I wasn't 17 yet. Should I sing again? But I was 16 and that, and, like they kept, on the news, and it wasn't reporting like it was now. So it was scary. But, anyway, we lived through it.
How do we even get onto that subject?
We just... She's a rambler, not like me, you know.
I followed along.
And Gina Pearson, you can adopt Christy Mitchell because you two have the same thinking of that coat, because that's a good coat. I love that coat. I might wear it over to Denise's house on Friday while I have the furnace put in.
Yeah, I'm getting my furnace on Friday. It's not been too bad because I've had my fireplace on, and it's cool at night in the bedrooms, but I like that anyway, so.
Makes for better sleeping.
Much, but can't wait.
Well, she's gone most of the day anyhow when you're working.
I know most of the day.
Well,
3 hours. That's not most of the day.
Well, then she's gone shopping and going to her quilt store. And you still haven't done your video about your...
No, I haven't.
I tell her, Lori. I tell her, Kim and Lori. I tell her all the time.
I have to do that, my craft room and my quilts and all that I've done.
And someone did ask, Denise is 10 years younger than me.
Yes. How insulting to me you had to ask. I read that and I thought, excuse me.
I have such a youthful...
It's not a couple of years that you could say, oh, in 2 years, how would you know? 10. 10 years.
10 years. I know.
That's insulting.
But you know what? You figure when I was 10, Mike was 8, Sue was 7, Pat was 4, Mary was 2, and you were 1. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she had a lot. And then she lost one in between, so...
No, because Mary's 2 years older than me, and Pat's 3 years older.
Oh, so he was 4 and she was 3 and you were 1.
Anyway.
She always has to correct me.
We're coming on... We're over 18 minutes.
We're over 18
so
minutes. Rambling. Not me.
You're gonna repeat everything I say? So, you have to like us.
Oh, like us? Subscribe. Comment.
And share. And we did it right that time.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do anything on Friday because we're not getting together on Friday.
Oh, but in Halloween, I might do a little bit of filming on Halloween.
We can see her nacho bar. It is really good. It really, my whole family looks forward to the nacho bar because they even say, "What time is the nacho bar?"
It's kind of my thing, when you start something, then they never want you to not do it, and it actually is very good. And it'll be our dinner, but nonetheless, it's.
See, my thing is I started making fudge at Christmas time, so now every year I got to make fudge.
That I don't like.
No, I love fudge.
I can live without that.
But
anyway.
So anyway.
That's it, folks.
Bye. That's all.